Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Honorable City Council members, to our mayor, to our city treasurer and our city clerk in their absence, to our city attorney, the administrative staff here in the audience, to our state senator, Darren Camilleri, to members of the public here in the council chambers and those viewing via our broadcast channel and YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting. Today is Monday, February 27, 2023. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card located on the table in the back of the chambers and hand it to me, the deputy clerk. Additionally, members of the public who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com. At this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barden.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilwoman Webb.
Here.
Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is a quorum for tonight's regular meeting.
Thank you.
Tonight's regular meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairpersons report, 5 mayor's report, 6 clerk's report, 7 treasurer's report, 8 public comment, 9 unfinished business, 10 new business, 11 warrant, 12 communication, and number 13 is adjournment, and a motion would be in order to accept tonight's regular meeting agenda as presented.
So move to accept that agenda as you presented it.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, City Council. Agenda item 2A for approval are the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, February 13, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth?
I'm going to move for the approval of the council meeting of the Monday, February the 13th.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from our regular council meeting, was Monday, February 13th at 7:30. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, City Council. Agenda item 2B for approval are the minutes from the special meeting study session held on Monday, February 13, 2023 at 6 p.m. to discuss the design details for the proposed Veteran Memorial Park and alternative details to restore the former Veterans Memorial Monument on the city municipal complex.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the approval of the minutes from the special meeting held February 13th, 2023.
I'll support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for approval of the minutes from our special meeting held on Monday, February 13th at 6 o'clock p.m. to discuss the design details for the proposed Veteran Memorial Park and alternative details to restore the former Veterans Memorial Monument on the city municipal complex. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. There are no petitioners under tonight's meeting. That brings us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Tonight we had a 6:45 p.m. study session for amendments to the Fairway at Gateway PDA site plan. And I hope that everyone has the electricity back on. I know it's been really tough, but I'm sure that hopefully that it'll be on shortly, because I can understand you're hurt, because before I got a generator, I would, for some reason, every time I go grocery shopping, we have outage. So I said, let me invest in generator, so that really helps. But in the meantime, I hope your electricity and power come back on. At this time, I'm going to recognize a person that is trying to do some things in Romulus. I'm going to bring him up under my report. Mr. Willie Mall, will you take the podium, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Willie Mall. I own a company called In Spite Of. I stand before you this evening. I got mixed emotions, right? Because God put it in my spirit to come back to the city that I grew up with. I've been in Atlanta since 1997. A lot of people that I'm sitting in, or you guys are sitting there, I know. Miss Tina, she lived 5-6 doors down from me. Miss Webb, she probably doesn't even remember me.
I didn't recognize you
Yeah,
at first.
all her kids, like, we all grew up. Miss Williams, she probably don't remember me. But that guy right there, that dude, we went to school together, graduated 2 years before I did. I graduated in '88. I was on that Romulus state championship team. You don't see my picture because that's my In Spite Of. That guy right there, in '86, graduated '86. Right. Just the memories, right? But in spite of, you're now the mayor. All your shortcomings, you are now the mayor. How long did it take everybody up here to get it right? Maybe it took me, I'm 52, it might have took me 52 years to get it right. I have a lot of in spite ofs. I'm not perfect. That's the reason I started my company, for people that's not perfect. But God can still use you, clearly. I'm bringing a major concert here at Romulus High School because God told me to.
Yes.
The Detroit Youth Choir is the hottest thing smoking. America's Got Talent. They're on a #1 show.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They called me to be at my concert that I could have took to Eastern Michigan University. I could have took to Callahan Hall. I could have took to the music hall. Those places hold 20,000+ people. I chose Romulus because I grew up here.
Yes.
I wanted to showcase Romulus. I sure enough wanted to showcase you. Romulus needs a different vibe.
Yes.
And God put it in my spirit to do it. Leandria Johnson, she's a Grammy Stella Award winner. Right? They're coming to Romulus because I'm launching my company In Spite Of, and they believe in Spite Of. I'm doing 20 cities with these guys, but we're gonna start in Romulus first. I don't know if I'm announcing a concert or defending my name. I'm a In Spite Of, so that means that I'm not perfect. That's the whole point of my company. I'm starting to get phone calls from high up here questioning who I am. I'm the guy that God chose to showcase Romulus. Instead of all of us going to Detroit, I'm bringing Detroit to Romulus. I'm bringing Canton to Romulus, Ann Arbor to Romulus, Ipsy to Romulus, Taylor to Romulus. It doesn't matter about my In Spite Ofs.
Right.
Quit asking who I am and digging in my yesterday. If you dig in my yesterday one more time, I'm gonna take the concert elsewhere because I don't have to, this is for you guys. I'm exhausted. I got a concert to put on. I'm gonna turn that high school into the Fox Theater. My production team was just in the high school. We're measuring. You guys do graduation there. You don't see the vision in my head when y'all walk into that gymnasium on April 15th. I'm bringing a conference from 11 to 2. It's a mental health conference for people in spite of. It's so many people that they don't let you live up to your potential because they bring up your yesterday. Hell, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be the best Willie that Willie can be. That's it. And somehow you guys fit into my vision. This is so positive for this city. Those kids, I felt like a rock star a few minutes ago at Romulus High School. They can't believe that the Detroit Youth Choir is coming into a gymnasium they play at. Right? I'm getting a lot of phone calls. People want in on my concert. Pastors are calling me. Well, I'll let you announce the concert at my church, but you got to give me 5% of your ticket sales. Where do they do that at? Where we do this at? Right? This is to make this city. When I was here in Romulus, when we were here, right? We had the biggest tragedy here was Mr. Bob O'Day. Yes. But that tragedy brought black and white together. I'm trying to bring black and white together. Who cares about my yesterday? It's about my today. Quit digging. You guys want a successful? Look, here I am. I chose Romulus, right? Don't make me feel like this was a bad decision because my partners are like, what are we doing? We could have made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but because they believe in my vision, we chose to come to Romulus where you can only get 2,000 people in the gym. Right? You wanted to do an economical program? I'm doing a pop-up shop. Where's the mom and pop businesses? I want to showcase them. You guys help me help Romulus. That's it. It's just that simple. Right? This concert, I need you guys to support. It should be on the website. City of Romulus. Why not?
Yes.
I tried to go through the school to put the tickets on sale. I caught hell to make it accessible for the kids and their parents. You guys, you take this show to Detroit, you're talking about a $60, $75 ticket. We're talking about $30. VIP is $50. Right? My company, my team, my sponsors, we promised to give the athletic department no less than $10,000, if not more. I need your support. Please don't let them attack my character. No. I'm standing in front of you. I'm not perfect. I got a whole yesterday. That's why God gave me the company in spite of. Right? I need your support. Right? Let's sell the place out. Right? The concert is from 7 to 10. The pop-up shop is from 10 to 10. And that is going to feature all of the mom and pop businesses that they do it in their house. I'm going to showcase them in that cafeteria. Right? We need the whole city to come out and show support. That's what his plan was about. I met with him. That's his plan. To do something different here in Romulus. Yes. Right? God sent y'all an angel. Sorry, it's me. I got a whole yesterday though. But so do you, 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 so do you. I partied with this guy in high school. I'm sorry, I ain't supposed to say that. Right? We all got yesterdays. But that doesn't mean that God can't use you. Right? Everybody that's on this ticket, They have yesterdays, right? I'm sorry. There's a lot of people calling me. And because I won't make deals, I won't compromise my company, now you want to bring up my yesterday. So people won't support it. I don't know what we're doing here, right? And it's not the people outside of Romulus, it's the people inside.
Yes.
I'm not here to be political. I'm here to create a platform for in spite of people like me, like him. Right? I don't know about, right? But I know me and this guy. I need you guys to support me. The tickets are on sale. They went on sale yesterday, right? They weren't supposed to go on sale till March 1st. But the city of Romulus, everybody calling me. So we had to rush it. We had a glitch yesterday. It took them 8 hours to fix it because they were prepared to launch it March 1st. But because of the demand, I put it on sale yesterday. They had a glitch. Now I need everybody. It's working. It's called Ticketlocity. Right? I tried to do it through the school. Right? I couldn't do it. Too much politics, you guys. Too much. Right? I'm not a politician. My In Spite Of started in '86. So if you walk in that gymnasium and you look at the state championship team, you don't see a picture of me. But I was on that team. My mom took me off the night before. For whatever her reason was. She had to prove a point to my dad. We were kids, so kids don't understand, right? We tease each other, but I've lived with this for 50 years. Let me have my moment. Let me have my state championship moment that I never got in this gymnasium. Allow that to happen. These kids want it, right? I stopped at the gas station right here. This lady was like, oh my God, you guys, Leandra Johnson and the Detroit Youth Choir is coming to Romulus. I had to tell that lady, it's me. I made this happen. And I said, how many tickets you want? She started crying. I gave her 10 tickets. This is not about money. I'm gonna make money in the next cities. This is about showcasing you guys. And I wanna launch my company in the very gymnasium, right, that I never got my state championship ribbon. I never got my state championship ring. My teammates on that championship team, they tease me to this day because they don't understand, right? It's bigger than a concert, you guys. It's way bigger. Let me have my moment, right? I'm asking for your support.
Thank you.
Right? I would like my flyer to go on the website. I would like all of you guys there, front and center. Help me give that school 10,000 and up. I'm really shooting for 100 grand. But I'm an area manager for Amazon. People don't know that. So that facility right there, that plant manager is my boss. I'm talking about Amazon sponsoring, giving money. But we can't do it if everybody from our yesterday coming out and doing this. That's not what we do. Quit allowing people to make you live in your yesterday. I'm about my tomorrow, and I'm asking this city to get behind this concert. It's not, I've heard it was fake. It didn't exist. Where are these people getting this? I've already spent $38,000. right? Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, they'll be there. I need you guys' help. This is a positive for all of us. And I need everybody in this room to support it and get behind it. Let's sell it out. Let's add another show. Right? I got the who's who calling my phone. I'm like, how did you get my phone? Right? I meet with Dan Gilbert tomorrow to be a sponsor. And I got people in Romulus trying to ruin my name. I don't need it. I can take this concert elsewhere. And I don't have to face being humiliated because of my yesterday. People I've never talked to in 30 years. You're talking about 30 years worth of nonsense. Get about my today, but I'm not cutting deals. I'm not compromising in spite of. I'm not. I respect everybody up there. I'm asking you guys, right? Have my back.
We got it.
Right? Have my back. This is a choice. I chose Romulus.
Thank you.
Right? Thank you for your time. You guys, I'm sorry. Right? But I had to get this off of me. Right? I had to get it up off of me. John, I appreciate it. Right?
Good job.
I'm
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Thank you.
guys.
Mr. Willie, Maul. We got a little history of the Maul family. His father was a great football player, Inkster High. I think he was one of the best running backs at Inkster High. My brother was quarterback. The Maul family and the Barton family been close-knit for years. I knew probably his father before he was born. Uh-oh, I might talk too much. But what a great family they come from. He's trying to do something in Romulus. And he's at the podium now asking for help.
John?
He asked for help. So what can we do, council, or, I don't know, can we put it on the,
Yeah. Can we advertise now
can we
for it?
advertise it, Mayor, on the,
Can you tell the listening audience?
Just through the chair, yeah, I'd like to respond. First of all, thanks for outing my age, you know. And I appreciate your efforts, and that's, we're trying to build our team around that old Eagle pride and that passion for community, and it shows. And the true measure of a man, you know, we're all gonna fall. The true measure of a man is how you get up, so, and how you look beyond that fall. So I'd like to set up a meeting with your team and our team to figure out what are the roadblocks you're having, bring in the schools, let's figure out how to make this happen. We're running out of time now, you 6 weeks or so.
6 weeks.
So we just, you know, answer questions, cross Ts, dot Is, and figure out how to make this a successful event. I think everybody on city council is behind it as well. We just want to make sure it's a success, and it, you know, showcases, you know, the comeback and the story that is Romulus. So, again, thanks for out my age, man.
But if I may say this to you, we met, you seen the whole, you met my team. We laid it out for you guys, right? There is no hiccups. There is no, I got a signed contract, I got the building, I got it from 10 to 10. There's no hiccups, right? I got the artist, there's no hiccups. Commercials start March 1st. There is no hiccups.
Seems like you're saying there's a lack of communication between the schools and the city and you.
So here's the thing, right? I don't need anything from, I just need your support. Everything is done. I got a fabulous team. I'm a great businessman, right? I wore a whole shirt today that I've never worn. I had it made today, and it says, "In spite of it all." I got this.
Okay.
I just need your support, right? Showcase your small businesses, right? So people can come in here and support them, and we can get them out of their houses and into buildings. That's it. I don't want nothing from nobody, but don't let people, right, put a bad, like this is bad. This is not bad. I didn't ask for this. God gave it to me.
Yes, Mr. Maul, I have some council people that want to speak on this. Under my report, this is the kind of things that I like under my report. To support the city, promote the city moving forward. Now, some council people, I'm going to go in order what asked me first. I think one was it Ido, then Ms. Williams, then Ms. Talley. They want to speak, so go ahead. First.
I'm just wondering, Bob, when you hold this meeting, can we get the superintendent on board from the school district, invite him?
So, yeah,
So that we can do, and then the other thing is, can we announce where people are going to want to know where to get tickets from? Maybe
So-
we could announce to our listening audience.
So the tickets are on Ticketlocity. They gave me the best rate so we can keep the price down, because I want to make it affordable for the city of Romulus. I don't want to outprice the city of Romulus. Tickets are $30. On the floor, it's $50. Right? VIP seating is $50. Ticketlocity, Cash App, NSO has a Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle. Those are the outlets. It's on the flyer. I don't know if
Perhaps we
that-
can invite the superintendent to the meeting.
Correct.
That would
So,
help.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank- Ms. Williams, and Ms. Williams, then Ms. Talley.
Okay.
So emotional, Lord.
Yes,
have mercy.
it's a
I mean,
lot.
to see a young man
Thank you.
up asking adults, asking a city that needs help to support. When I seen it on Facebook. So this ain't my first time hearing it. I seen it on Facebook, and when I seen that choir in the background, coming to Romulus, I was like, how do I get a ticket? The link is out there.
It is.
The link is out there. I say to you, and I say this to all young, because this is what we need. We need you guys to take over. We need you guys to step up and do what you see us not doing, okay? I take my hat off to you.
Thank you.
To bring such a extraordinary group to Romulus, that's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge. I say to you, I know you said you don't need our help, but I do Forgotten Harvest every Tuesday.
Okay.
We get people from all over Wayne County, a lot from Romulus, but all over Wayne County. If you would like to give me some flyers, I would make sure every car get one.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's starting tomorrow,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Yes, ma'am. I thank
God
you.
bless you. Thank you for listening to God.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Talley?
Willie. Willie. Didn't I just see you a couple weeks ago
You
up at the
did.
high school?
You did.
And what did
You
we
said-
say?
You said whatever I need, I got.
And weren't you supposed to call me that weekend?
I did.
And what happened?
I did not.
Okay. I just wanted for the record.
Yeah, for the record.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know you got my foot. We from the same hood.
We from the same
We from the same hood. And I told you then, and I'm saying it again. Let me know. I just need to know what you need me to do.
I got you.
I got you.
I appreciate
I got
that.
you.
I
And all that
appreciate
stuff, people digging in your past. If somebody in here ain't got something in their past, please raise your hand, because we
Right.
all got stuff. And I'm so sorry to hear
Yeah.
that things you went through. I feel your pain.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and I'm not surprised. So I'm just saying, I'm here for you, whatever you need. I've been waiting on your phone call. So make sure, let me get your phone number. Maybe I need to call you.
Yeah, you probably need to go.
But, no, applaud your efforts.
Thank you.
I've been talking about mentoring, bringing the generation behind us, because we're not gonna be here all the time.
That's right.
We need to have people build up to come behind us, to keep our city moving forward. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
And let me make sure I get your contact
All
number.
right, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'd just like to say this. I know you said, you come to us and ask us for our help. Councilwoman Abdo said, bring the superintendent together. It's one thing, our city and school is totally separate. What the city can do, and I'm speaking starting with our mayor, along with all of our elected officials, will do the same thing. You already got the building.
Yes.
You already have the contract, you got the group. Move forward. It's not trying to beg anyone that haven't came on board to come on board.
Yes, ma'am.
move forward with what God has already gave you to do.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay. All right, Mr. Maul, Willie Maul. Thank you, sir,
Thank you.
for your presentation, and you see you have our support. It's a great, great event you want to bring to Romulus, and we appreciate that. We need that, and like I said, anything I can do, I'm on board to help you.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, you guys.
Thank
I gotta
you.
get back to work.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
See you later.
Okay, that concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
you.
Number 5, Mr. Mayor's report.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Deputy Clerk, members of the audience, and those at home tonight watching in. Just a couple items I want to address before I get into the business items I have here. We all know we had an issue in our city last week when we were receiving some transports from the disaster that is in Palestine, Ohio, and there was some agreements that were made with private companies and to ship the chemicals to the city of Romulus to the deep injection well, and also to some of the solid door to Van Buren, among other sites in the United States. I want to thank some key elected officials.
Pardon me, Mayor, but they're saying in the back, they can't hear you.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Actually, we can't hear any of you. You guys can-
All right. Is that better? Okay. Hopefully Mike's downstairs and he hears that too. He can make an adjustment here. I'm just talking about the issue we had in Romulus last week where they were shipping some of the spillage from the disaster in Palestine, Ohio, to the city of Romulus at the Republic site for the deep injection well in Van Buren. It was scheduled to receive some of the solids. The first task at hand was to stop the shipments coming into our community. And I want to thank some key state and federal officials who got involved as soon as possible to stop this so we could find out what was being shipped, what amounts were, was it being handled, correctly, and did it meet EPA guidelines. Congresswoman, both of them, Debbie Dingell and Rashida Tlaib, even though Rashida Tlaib doesn't represent Romulus anymore, she was waded into the fight, and she helped. Also, Senator Darren Camilleri, who's in attendance tonight, so thank you for coming out to the city of Romulus, showing the residents that you care. Also, our state representatives, DeSena, Miller, and Wagala, were all in contact with the city of Romulus to make sure that our addresses were being, or our issues were being addressed and our concerns were being heard. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans and his team, they got involved and they were reaching out to us as soon as we heard what was going on. Local leaders from surrounding communities, Supervisor Glabe and McNamara, Mayor Woolley, all these surrounding communities. This is not a Romulus issue, and that's why I made them all aware of this. Romulus has been fighting this issue since the 90s. And where I hate a tragedy like this to occur in any community, it opened a lot of eyes to the issue and started the conversation again in the city of Romulus. So, like I said, the first mission was to halt the shipping of those contaminated substances into our state, and that's been accomplished right now. We're setting a meeting up with the Republic people to get to the site. We want to have boots on the ground, but our fire department's been out there to verify. We've ensured, with boots on the ground that these did stop coming into our site. We're going to work with the local officials just to make sure that they're meeting the guidelines and requirements. And we're also engaging in that discussion at a higher level now just to make sure that this is the right place to dispose of any of these chemicals. It never made sense to me and a lot of people in this community why you do this near the nation's largest supplier of fresh water. We all know this, and where it's a tragedy, it's opened new eyes to this argument. Like I said, City of Romulus has been fighting this for since the 90s about this issue. When you saw Warren Evans speak on it, he had mentioned the possibility of having agreements between communities. Romulus has never had an agreement. Romulus has never approved it, never accepted it. We just never had the authority to shut it down. Bill Wadsworth, you and I talk about, you still carry that recap sign in your briefcase. So
Yes,
I just want to make sure everybody understands that we're all united front here, and all of our city council members that reached out over the weekend. I had to cut my vacation short, come home to make sure we're addressing this issue. And we got meetings set up for the rest of this week to make sure we're addressing these. And I can't think enough, we talk about building a good team. Director Kraus jumped right into this thing. We all know how good he is at environmental issues to his background in the fire department, but he might not be from Romulus, but he's got that passion for community. So, Kevin, thank you for jumping right in, wading into the issues, handling the issues as if I was here, constant communication with us, letting me know what's going on. I know he's working with a lot of our local elected official council members were calling him, the state representatives were calling him, and he had a clear line of communication. And like I said, we were able to accomplish some goals for Romulus and get the contaminants to stop coming to our community. Now we're going to look at the next phase, which is conversations with higher representation, and also to make sure best practices are being adhered to. So stay tuned for more details on that, but I want to make sure everybody's assured that we have confirmed that those have stopped coming to our city. And I wanted to thank those key officials. This is a regional issue. This is not just Romulus. We're not alone here. And you know, it's not just a site where they're disposed of, it's the traffic that comes through here. You know, we could just as easily be Palestine, Ohio right now. And, you know, I say we love to hate on our neighbors to the south in Ohio, and the same here. This is just heart-wrenching. That community's been annihilated, you know, by one accident. So we need to make sure these are being handled in a proper manner, that the rail systems are up to snuff, so we're not going to have these train derailments again. We're not going to take care of issues like that, but it takes our leaders at a state level to get involved, and so I'm glad to see Senator Camilleri here and in the forefront on this fight. So we're going to continue, and I'll be sharing information on that as well. So before I get into the action items on that, was there questions from council?
Yeah, I have a couple questions from council members. Okay. I think Williams and then Ms. Abdo had their hands up.
I would just like to say this. Most of the time, we're upset with the media. Most of the time, you know, we're upset either they said something we don't agree or they said something that wasn't true. This time, I have to really thank the media for being nosy, keeping their ear to the ground, because they broke the story. They broke the story. Our city, our county, our state, and even the federal government was blindsided. The media broke the story. They leaked it. They heard something, you know, because they keep their ear to the ground nationally. And when that hit, it allowed the county, the state, and the federal government to step in this time. Because I remember back in '93, we didn't have that support. And they rushed in right away, our fire chief, and to have the support of the county, the state, and the federal government, that means so much to me, I know. Because when you're being told there's nothing you can do and someone can come with poison toxins and bring them in your city and cause all type of health issues to those that you represent, that's pretty bad. And I remember when, to me, it's no different than the Flint water situation where the EPA was, oh, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. But thank God for the county, first of all, the media, every last one of y'all, the county, the state, and the federal government. I thank you. I thank our fire chief, our mayor, because he responded right away. But this is bigger than actually they want us to believe. And I'm just so glad that we have so much support behind us now, the city of Romulus, and even Van Buren and the other communities, that we can fight this in the right way. The EPA need guidelines. They should not be able to allow someone to come in no community with poison toxins or whatever hazardous materials that's going to endanger people's lives. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, because that made a big difference, and it like came to a halt pretty quick. So thank everyone that was involved.
Yeah. Ms. Abdo?
My concern is the material that did get sent here. That well was shut down recently, or a few years ago, for leakage. And do you remember when they shut that well down? We've had trouble with it over and over. Is the state looking into that? How do we know? I mean, there's already stuff that's been sent there. How do we know that they haven't injected it, or if they're going to inject it, if that well's going to leak? That well has been nothing but trouble since I can remember. And is the state checking on it? Is the state taking a look to see if it's up to whatever code they have?
We're currently gathering the data on that. There's EPA guidelines and state inspections. We're trying to track all those data and all the reports just to make sure what process we're put in place. It was shut down under environmental disposal systems. Republic since it purchased that and rehabilitated the well. And the city, once again, was fighting that issue. Under
I know
Mayor
we did.
Burcroft, they were still having that issue over there. But Republic stepped up, did some significant site repairs, and met the state's guidelines. But we're, like I said, we're going to make sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted.
That the state comes in and again, to see if it's up to the
Absolutely.
guidelines,
And-
since it
and
hasn't
like-
been.
And like we've been talking about with Senator Camilleri, our guidelines and protocols that they're meeting, are they enough? Are they strict enough? So we're going to look at those as well, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of people trying to dump stuff in Romulus.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Wadsworth, myself, I think, was on council, Ms. Webb and stuff, fought this
I'm
back.
the only one who left that was on council when it first came.
Right. And what I'm concerned about is been out there is safe now, but you don't know what's going to happen down the road. Will it be safe down the road? And Romulus, look like everybody just want to just dump stuff here. You know? Our kids grow here. You know, they got to come up. You know? We got to make a living here. People in Romulus, we don't want to be a dumping ground. I heard some's been dumped already. So it's been halted right now, but we just have to keep fighting, and I'm glad that the council and the city and the state and the county all fighting this, and we just have to keep fighting this, because if you don't fight it, you're going to get ran over. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Wadsworth, then Ms. Talley.
If I could, and I've been involved with this since December the 10th of 1990, when myself, the late Russell Lambert and Randy Gear voted against this project. Unfortunately, that night, it was passed 4-3, and for them to come into our town. Well, luckily, the 23rd of August of the following year, we as a body rescinded that and told them that they couldn't be here. But the point I want to make, that night that myself and Russ Lambert and Randy Gear voted no, we had no support. We had people out in the crowd telling us how good this was. We were going to get $50,000, fees and this. It was the greatest thing since popcorn. And we had no support. In fact, I remember I wrote Senator Regal a long 2-page letter asking him for help, and he sent back a 1-page letter saying, that's between you and the state. So we had no support from nobody. And I appreciate the politicians, even though it's 33 years has gone by, have finally come, and I compliment you on trying to do something. Ray Basham was a friend of ours. He tried to help. I personally got sued by the company, EDS, myself, Russ Lambert, and Randy Gear. We had to go to court and testify. It was a terrible 6 months, and they didn't care. And finally, we were lucky enough to kind of put an end to it, although it didn't end up getting built. And just like this past week, they come with their stuff. They went over on Warman Road and showed up with a rig, and for about 3 days, they dug that well constantly before anybody knew what the hell was happening. And in my final statement, I appreciate the folks now, the television folks and the politicians to get involved, because this is like putting a toilet seat with a big hole on the ground. You don't know what's going to go down that hole, and you don't know what's going to happen 50 years from now. Government has told us going back to into Vietnam that Agent Orange was good. It was going to help the troops. Well, you know what happened with that. So sometimes government always doesn't tell you the truth. And thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Talley.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off to Mr. Barton. Mr. Barton, you just said it right. Romulus is not a dumping ground. I don't know what people thought back in the past, but we're not a dumping ground. And we're on the precipice of greatness in Romulus. I don't know if people haven't got a clue about that yet, but we're on the precipice of greatness. We're not a dumping ground, and we're not going to be a dumping ground. So I just want to thank everybody over this weekend. All hands was on deck. All hands was on deck, from our senator, our mayor on vacation, and Chief Kraus did an amazing job over the weekend. I was at a meeting with our rep, Wagella, on Saturday. We have representatives from the Garden City, the mayor of Garden City, Inkster, representative from Inkster. Everybody was in support. So everybody had their circle of influence of people that they reached out to and to get supporting us, the city of Romulus, in this mess. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting Romulus. All hands on deck, and I don't know what's next or what next step is, Mayor, but I'm sure you'll keep us abreast. You said meetings all this week. We just want to know what's going on. The residents want to know, of course, and we just need all hands on deck to keep this moving forward, get this settled, and I hope that the more voices they hear and continuously hear, they'll leave us alone. We are not a dumping ground. We're on the precipice of greatness, and it's just not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Talley. One more, Ms. Webb.
Okay, through the chair, if I may. I've been here a long time. And the EPA and I are not friends. They don't go by the rules. There have been so many things that have happened here, and I'm not one who's afraid to speak up against Big Karma or whoever. Somebody knew. Can't nobody tell me I've been living here too long, too much stuff has happened in the city, and you're not going to tell me that nobody knew about this. Somebody knew. It either came from, I won't say the federal government, but I will say, without getting sued, it came from somebody. We're sitting here. Nobody knows anything, and we have all this waste coming up from Ohio. Nobody from Ohio knew the destination of this waste. You can't tell me that. I've been here too long. I've lived in this city too long, seen too many so-called accidents. No. And I am so thankful that I have council members now who will vote on this, and they will vote on getting it done. And it doesn't matter what anyone tells me, because I've been a citizen out here too long. I have too many friends, not only just in the city, but what I'm speaking of are politicians. We're going to have to keep our politicians straight and stop taking what every politician says. Not everybody loves Romulus, but I tell you one thing, before it's over with, we're going to know who made the decision to have this delivered to our city. Oh, it's going to come out. And when it does, hey, don't look at me. I tried to tell you. Because it has happened years and years and years down the road. Like my colleague, Councilman Wadsworth said, there were only 3 council members to vote against the deep well. 3. And you're going to sit here and have children and grandchildren, and you don't even concern yourself, always making excuses. I'm not going to make excuses for anybody, not even my own city. When it comes to doing wrong, I'm going to stand up, whether you want me to stand up or not. And I have heard so many rumors. I mean, no one mentions Van Buren Township, right? Where they have a place over there where they dumping this stuff. Why would they dump it? And how can you dump something in our city that we don't know about? I don't understand that. So I'm just saying, it's okay for everyone to think what they think. But our politicians, they need to get on board because they want to come back and take office again. It's not right to put it in our small town. It's not right for people to jump out and say, oh, I knew nothing about it. Now, I believe with all my heart and soul, because I've lived here, our city had no idea. Because see, we're a little space that they just coming through, they dump it here, but then they going on over. And I don't want to say, because I have to have everything that I say in black and white. But the thing about it is, our politicians need to start taking a closer look. Not only just the city, the county, the state. We elect all these people. But yet still, once you get in office, it's like, oh, well, I'm here now. Well, I don't go for that. And it doesn't matter to me whether you like me or anything, but you will respect me because I tell the truth. I don't get up here and stretch the truth. And I don't believe my colleagues do either, nor the mayor. But these outsiders, can't tell me somebody didn't know, but I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. Who knows, because we have dealt with EPA, we have dealt with all these folks, all these years, and it still continues to happen. And it's not fair. I don't care if it's only 900 people in this community. It's not fair to try to hide stuff. Now, if you want to be a politician, be a politician. But don't come knocking on my door saying, what are you going to do? No, you haven't done anything. Because somebody in this state, out of state, knew what was going on. There is no way those trucks could have come up 75 or 275 or wherever and dumped. There is no way. Somebody had to have seen the dumping. Somebody had to have seen where it was dumped. Where was it going? And where did it end up? And then we have, what, 2 days, Mayor, to try to find out what was going on? But people had to have known in Ohio the destination of those trucks, and they're not going to tell me that they didn't know. Okay. And I'm not going to listen to anybody who says they didn't know. It started at the original point.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Just one more quick comment. You know, it's so ironic that in Victory, just outside of Cedar Point, the city of Victory, they have a well there. So they actually drove past that well to come to Michigan. And that's sad, that's sad.
Sad.
Right.
Victory, Ohio is where
Okay,
it's at.
right.
I can't see what you're putting up.
Okay, I have, just a minute, sir, just a minute. I have Councilwoman Roscoe want to comment, and then I got a couple of people in the audience want to comment, and then I want our senator to have the last comment. Okay, Ms.
Thank
Roscoe?
you, Chair. I won't keep a lot of time. I think everybody has said what we need to say here. And one thing about it is we have a united front. We are all against them bringing anything here, dumping anything like this here. And Bill's not on his own on this fight any longer.
Right.
Appreciate all the support, our other Congress people here, but mainly, we're not dragging our feet. We're not dragging our feet and waiting to see what's going to happen next. We're going to hit it head on, and we're going to do everything we can to stop it with every little bit of fight we have. There's strength in numbers, and that's what we have this time. We have a lot of strength, a lot of backing, and we have a lot of people that support us. And I want to just thank everyone who's gotten involved so far, and everyone who's going to get on board now that it's brought into the forefront that they're wanting to head this way, because they're not heading this way anytime soon as far as we're all concerned.
Okay,
But thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you, everyone, for being on board and being a united front.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Now I'd like to call up Ms. Louise. Ms. Louise,
Should I call him up in my report, or,
well, you can,
His report.
you can go ahead and do your report.
so,
No, you go ahead. I want you to call on your report because this is your report.
so Louise Pastrula? Did
Yeah.
I say that right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Pestula.
Pastula, okay.
And this is one more, Mayor.
Yeah, normally we wait under public comment, but this is kind of a different kind of meeting, so, and I know there's residents who want to be heard, so we're going to break protocol a little bit here, and so under public comment, we have Louise Pastula, Romulus resident. Please state your name and address for the record.
Louise Pastula, 30240 Becky Lane. I'm kind of listening to this, and, we're complaining about this particular incident coming to light, that something from Ohio was being dumped here. These deep wells, these deep injection wells, they've been having a lot of problems all over the United States. You've got things coming into Republic every day, and we have no idea what's going in. We don't know any idea of what's seeping out. The handouts that I gave you has a ton of information in it to talk about that. How this ever got approved in our city, if I would have known that I lived 6 miles from this, I probably would not have moved here. But I have a house set up for a disabled veteran now. I'd like to know how much my house is going to depreciate because of this now. This has just come to light that most of us didn't even know that this thing existed miles from us. I guess it's been there since 1990. Do we know if there's any seepage? Have we found out if the EPA is going ahead and taking care of this, inspecting it? There's really no way to inspect it, though, if you read this article. My background, I worked for an engineering company for several years. My background was in senior project management, so since I was kind of in the marketing, sales area, so every project throughout that company came across my desk. General Motors did it right. Realm did it right. Every time a shipment leaves one place of toxic material, you have to have safety data sheets. Do we know those safety data sheets and what is in here? Apparently, they didn't even have safety data sheets, and they were going to accept that material. How many times has material been accepted into there without the safety data sheets? The EPA, hazmat, they have to have them. But do we have a company that's maybe doing the wrong thing? That's accepting whatever's coming across to them? We need to start asking some good, hard questions, because this well is not a good thing. So I guess my understanding is we have some news outlets that are saying that, yes, some things were dumped there. We're having some news outlets that are saying, no, nothing was dumped there out of the Palestine. Which is it? Do we even know? I talked to Mr. DeSantis and Jamie Thompson the other day. They were out there in support. They were out there to protest. And, I was wondering where everybody else kind of was. I'd like to know, what our plans are and making sure that this thing does not seep out, that we don't wind up having any problems. DOT should have known something. They have to give those safety data sheets. Where are the safety data sheets? Somebody knew they were coming if they had those safety data sheets. Hey, they're done on, still, I think, on a dot matrix printer. In a 5-part carbon copy forms the EPA requires. I guess that's my question. How are we going to find out these things? What is our game of action? What's our game of action from our city?
Well, first plan of action is work with our state legislators to make sure that they are meeting those guidelines. If we see a data sheet, or we see a spec sheet on the chemicals that were dropped off or delivered at that site, even before this latest issue, we're going to make sure that those meet the right requirements. And that's kind of what Senator Camilleri has been working on as well, making sure if they're meeting best process, is that best process? Can we get that better to make sure and get some certainties in this? There's a lot of assumptions that the site operates on. So I can't give you real direct answers yet, other than we're going to push to make sure we have that data. Like I said, that's why I want to get boots on the ground tomorrow and actually see what's going on over there. You mentioned the inspection process. I know Eagle works with them, EPA works with them to do inspections of data process. I'd like to see those records as well, so we're going to be pushing for that. You're correct about the data sheets on the project, and as far as actual dumped on site, I have been notified that they have at least three days of shipping to that site. We're still trying to find out the amount that was delivered to that site before it was halted and redirected into that site in Ohio. So there was some dumped into that site. We're going to work with them to get more answers. Like I said, I was out of town on vacation, cut short to come home and address the issue. So we'll be at that site this week and then meet more key state and federal officials as we can. So yeah, and you know, not only that, you know, I'm a resident as well, so it's our drinking water. We're in this thing together. So nobody here is in favor of this, and we want to make sure that they've adapted and to practice the best practices to make sure we're all as safe as possible.
All right. Well, I don't think we're all going to be as safe as possible as long as that thing stays open. If you read the materials that I did give you, unfortunately, the highlighting didn't come out on all of it. But as far as putting our city having these deep injection wells, there's 17 states right now that have banned them. They're not even allowed in their state. We need to work with our state and have these things banned already, because there's been too many accidents with them. They've seeped up out of the ground. And we're going to continue to, eventually, we are going to have a problem. We might not have it now, but eventually we will. It's just a matter of time. Is it going to be 10 years, 50 years? So we really need to take a good look at this and get it the heck out of here. I'm sorry, but, you know, the only thing that can be done right now is things sealed off. That's all they're doing in other states. But eventually that concrete, that rock, it erodes. It erodes. The steel rusts out. Okay?
Well, and the city did have a lawsuit against EDS when they first came to the city of Romulus. They did have to cap one of the wells, so it was a product, you know, the new location was part of the lawsuit that the city lost when this came here, so.
I'm sorry.
The well location you have now is a product of Romulus losing that lawsuit. You know, some of the council members that were here at the time might be able to speak more on it than I was, but I know the city of Romulus sued to prevent it, lost the lawsuit, and the Citron well site came to fruition, but the first well that was installed here was capped and filled with concrete.
Now, I mean, we don't know who knew this was coming. You're right. Do we trust the state? I mean, do we get our own engineers to go and do a test to go look and see what's going on there? Can we do that?
Right now, we don't have regulatory authority to do that, but we are looking, like I said, we're working with our legislators right now to make sure that the best practices we've adopted are the best practices. You know, if these are here and these are product of our environment, we got to have these things. We got to make sure that we're doing the best we can to guard our environment. And like I said, it's never made sense to me to have this close to the Great Lakes. You know.
And if they've accepted materials without those safety data sheets, they need to be shut down. because we don't know what's in there then.
Okay. So unfortunately, a lot of the answers are still working on, so we'll get them as we have them, and we'll make sure we're clearly communicating with everybody too, so.
Okay.
The next one I have is for George Toma.
Good evening, City Council. My name is George Toma, longtime resident, mayor also. I'm a longtime resident of the city of Romulus. I'd like to say first off, I believe the community and the citizens of the city of Romulus are compassionate and understanding with those of New Palestine, but we do not want to deal with North Fork and Southern's mistakes. We live at a crossroads here in our community. What happens if it happens in our backyard? What are we going to do? This is your time to show us. What are you going to do? Please make an example of this and carry forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Heimberger?
Good evening, Tony Heimberger. It feels like old time from 30 years ago, unfortunately.
It does.
As the co-founder of Recap 30 years ago, it's just shocking that this is all coming back again. I have some questions and some concerns at this point. When the Citron Drive came to be, that was given a special use variance. We had to. That was per the court. And somewhere in my mind, I am remembering that we were able to say how many trucks per day, the hours of delivery, the route, and no outdoor storage. Which right now, if you look at any of the news medias and the footage of it, they have outside storage, guys. There's barrels sitting right there outside. That right now should be taken care of immediately. I don't know if they're empty or not, but still, any type of fluid in them, even residue. It rained all day today. What's the possibilities of having some contamination over there at this point again? Unfortunately, the EPA does not answer to anyone. It does not answer to the states. It does not answer to our federal government even, House representative or senators, or even to the president at this point. They are their own entity and do whatever they wish at any given time. That's where we need to get with our federal representatives and tell them to get something passed, where there is an oversight for the EPA, where they can be questioned. And you know what? It does not need to be political. If you want 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, make it even across the board at all times. There's no reason to be any type of thing like that. Now, the other concern, and this is a concern that arose several weeks ago, a couple months ago. In October, a permit was issued for the Warman Road well to drill for oil. I did speak to the city attorney about this, and I did find out that that was talked to you guys about in an executive session. The problem is, this is their MO for doing injection wells. This has been done in Texas several times over and over again. Oh, we went down, we didn't find oil, but now we're going to turn it into an injection well. Right now, the permit, and I did tell the city attorney this, that permit is wrong. And this city should have put a stop to it right then and there. That permit states it's Romulus Township. To my knowledge, this is not a township. This is a city. And the kicker is at the state level, there's different rules for townships and cities in drilling. That should have been sent right back to the saying, hey, this is not a township, this is a city, this needs to be fixed, and no, we do not need to be drilling for oil on that, because they are opening that old well site. They are going to drill through the cement of the capped well to get down there. This is something that we should be really concerned about, because I can see it all coming again, another well in Romulus. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. And just to clarify, that was a state permit. The city of Romulus didn't issue a permit, and we did make it clarify that we're opposed to the issuance of that permit, and also that even though they received a permit for that site, it still has to comply with City of Romulus regulations. So it still requires special land use approval. It means it would go through the planning commission, come through city council. Everybody would here be able to vote on that site. So, and I agree with your assumptions on that. You know, once you open it, who knows what's going to happen there? But that permit was issued by the state. I agree. And we'll look into that issue as well. We'll look into that issue as well. But we did make sure that notification was sent to the state and Eagle that the city was in opposition to this. We didn't support it. And also, we made it clear to them that this does have to follow City of Romulus ordinances and guidelines, which require special land use approval, which means planning commission, which means city council approval are required prior to any operations on that site. So if you see anything happen over there, please let us know. So right now, there's no city authorization at all on that site. Last but not least, Senator Darren Camilleri.
Well, I just want to thank you all for this robust conversation, and I appreciate all of your comments and questions and leadership over the course of the last 33 years of this issue being even an issue. So thank you for leading the fight at the local level. It's one of the things that the minute that we heard about any type of material being sent to Romulus was when Romulus got a call Friday afternoon from a local contact, someone from Republic saying, oh, hey, we forgot to mention that this happened, and so we're now letting you know that this is on the way, which city officials here called me Friday afternoon, and then we basically spurred it into action as quickly as we could. I contacted Congresswoman Dingell, Congresswoman Tlaib, Wayne County, and it created this chain of events that we were able to then put into action a very quick plan to demand that these shipments were stopped. We did not think, and I'll be very honest with you, we did not think that they would act as quickly as they did. So this started literally Friday afternoon, and by Friday night, we got word that the EPA was going to change their decision to halt this material from coming. Now again, I have the same questions as all of you. How much material was sent here before the time that we knew it? That is a major question that I know that we're trying to grapple with and deal with. We're hearing various reports that people have been saying it was, X amount of tons of liquid, this much solids that went to Van Buren Township, which is also in the district that I serve. And so we have a lot of those questions that still remain unanswered. However, I just want to say thank you for your quick leadership, for all of you, hearing from community members and dealing with our leadership here at the city. We would not have been able to do this if it was not a team effort. One of the things that I learned in this process was that, to some of your comments as well, we need to reform our legislation to ensure that we have a system that we can do a couple of things. One, bare minimum, we need notification, first of all. That local and state and federal officials need to have notification about when these materials are being sent, not only into the state, but into the communities in which they are trying to go. This is now, all of this is well before my time, right? These are laws that have been deregulated at the state level because they wanted to put in place systems that corporations could make massive amounts of profits on the backs of our communities, and the state was part of that. Republicans have led the legislature for 40 years in Lansing. And this is one of those things that they have chosen to deregulate to make sure that big businesses took advantage of our community. We now have an opportunity with this moment to fight back and to push back and to change those regulations, which is something that I'm already starting the conversation on, because it is not right that members of our community do not have the information that they need. That's the bare minimum. I would like to go further. I think that we can ban some of these substances from coming into our state and into our communities. And that's something that we're going to look at legislation as soon as this week to see what we can do to introduce and lead the fight to ban these substances from being put in place. I've also requested that Eagle go and put in some additional inspections into this site, which is something that we are now working on to see if they need additional resources to do that or how quickly that we can get them to go in and do an inspection so we know that anything that did get dumped into this site was done so in a safe and secure way. We are also going to look at potential legislation to change the amount of permits that need to be received and the amounts that are part of those permitting processes. So I think the mayor mentioned this as well, that there are certain levels with which we currently allow this material to come into place. Can we raise those standards so that maybe that dissuades any businesses from sending their toxic material here in the first place because we've just increased that standard to such a level that is too expensive for them to do it? So there are both incentives, I think, that we can change, as well as legislation and laws that we can change to really change this entire conversation. Now that last part, how do we stop this completely and shut this type of place down? That's going to be a collective effort that I think we need to work through and workshop what that needs to look like, because I cannot do it on my own. There's a lot of federal legislation and federal laws and regulations that need to get changed around that, or maybe there's some permits that need to be up for renewal, which is something that I think we're hearing a little bit about now, is that there might be a permit that's up for renewal soon that we can maybe push on and try to stop, because if they don't have the permit, they cannot operate. And so just know that I am very grateful to have the city of Romulus. I'm very grateful to have all of you in this fight with me, because it's not just going to be my work alone, it's going to be all of us doing this together. And so I just want to say thank you for your past years of leadership on this effort. I'm here to help and to assist and help advance us in a better and stronger position. So happy to take a couple of questions. I know we've been here for some time. Happy to answer a couple of questions if anybody would like to talk more about it. Just generally speaking, we are going to be as available as we can. We held a coffee hour here about a week ago. We also have a local downriver area district office in Trenton City Hall. So that if anybody wants to come visit us, any residents are able to come visit us on Mondays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please come stop by if residents have questions about that. And we'll still be posting additional availabilities throughout the city of Romulus too. So.
Darren?
Yes, Mr. Abdo.
Thank you, through the chair. I just want to know when the last time was that place was inspected, and how often do they inspect it? You know, it seems to me that's like the forgotten well over there.
And we're hoping to gather that information, and once we do, we'll share that out.
Thank you.
Do we know if it's a class 1, 2, or 3 well?
1.
I don't have those specifications, but that's something that we can get
It's a
additional
class one.
information on. But my understanding is that this was one of 3 wells in the country that could accept this material at all,
Class 1.
which
Ms.
I
Williams.
think is part of the problem too.
Ms. Williams.
Did this well just reopen in May? Are you aware of that, or?
I'm
City
not
attorney?
aware of the timeline, but I believe that it was open prior to May of last year, but I could be incorrect in that information.
I don't remember the exact date, but when Republic bought that well, they did come and see us. We actually went to Lansing and met with Eagle on it too. And I know that the Eagle was doing inspections of it then because they were transferring the license from the prior owner to the Republic. And I know that I'd have to go back and try and check, but it might have been a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer.
I mean, because I was looking, through some information, and I was seeing that they had just either sold or reopened just this past May. I think, to our state senator, speaking with, because you have more contact with them on a regular basis, the other state senators, state reps, the governor, they need to do a much better job in making sure that the EPA is regulated. I mean, even on the federal level. I mean, it can't be that someone, as my councilwoman, councilperson Eva Webb was saying, this can't be a dumping ground. We have to treat, and as the mayor said, the cleanest water in the world, and you come with this toxic. So we need to move forward and not just talk because of what has happened this past couple days, but we need to put into action something, because we don't need another Flint. We don't. I mean, look how long they said wasn't nothing wrong with Flint water. And then all of a sudden, people start dying and getting real sick, and all of a sudden now something wrong. So let's do something, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. We was not elected, and I'm talking about us, along on your level and the federal level. We wasn't elected to say there's nothing we could do. That's what we was elected for. Let's put something in place to stop them. Not certain materials. Let's do it to stop them, period. We don't want it here. Yeah. And as Councilman Wadsworth said, over 30-something years ago, why are we still fighting the same thing? Probably worse materials. So with your help on the state level, talking to those on the federal level, let's get something in action to stop it, period.
So I totally agree. I think that for the good thing, just so that everybody is aware, that there are now people who are paying attention. Mm-hmm. And so that is the one beautiful thing out of this horrible situation. Yes. is that people are paying attention for the first time, is what it sounds like to me tonight. And that's something that I think we will be able to leverage and utilize to create the change that we need. In terms of some of this legislation, I'm already looking to introduce legislation as soon as this week. And my hope is that we've already got backing from the speaker and from our majority leaders, that they want to see action on some legislation soon too. So I think it has been mentioned a few times, I don't think Romulus has ever had this much support from elected officials at various levels. And so I know that we are talking about it at the state. It sounds like our federal partners with Congresswoman Tlaib and Congresswoman Dingell are talking about changes too. And shout out to them, because if they didn't have contacts at the EPA to make those requests, we would not have had it halted as quickly as we did either. And so I think the nice thing is that we are going to be moving in a positive direction for probably the first time in what sounds like over 30 years.
Okay. And I would just like to say this, I mentioned it to our Mayor Pro Tem, that we as a council can actually start it here on the city level by saying, passing a resolution for you to take to the state level and then move it up to the federal level. Not just say we don't want it, but put it into action, present it on the state level that we don't want it. We want it to be banned, shut down, whatever need to be done for the safety of all humans, not just here in Romulus, but the surrounding communities, because this is serious. It is. And so we will definitely be, before the night is over, asking the council to support that you can take something to the state level, that they can see we're just not talking, we're actually putting something in action. Then we're going to put it on the backs of you guys, and then we'll look for the federal level to do something that we won't end up like Flint.
Yeah, I welcome that resolution, would love to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wadsworth?
John, just one more comment. You know, when this battle began, and you're totally right, we were dealing with the Republican Senate in this state, and these are all John Engler's appointees. And every time that we would vote this way, the appointee would overrule it and approve it. And, you know, because it was a total Republican Congress up in Little Lansing. And we basically really had no hope. And maybe now that there's a Democratic Congress, maybe things will change.
That's my goal too. And look, I welcome anybody from any party to join us in this fight for environmental justice. Unfortunately, we've not always had folks on the other side who have joined us in that fight. I welcome them. We are in this together. That's how we've been talking about this for literally decades, is that protecting our environment should not be a partisan issue, but the realities of these former legislators past is they never stood up for the environment in ways that they should have.
Right, correct.
And I just want to make sure, because I got calls and I went out over to the protest. This is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is a human safety issue. It's not political. And so we don't need to, point the fingers and blame one or another. We need to stay focused on the fact that we want to make sure that everyone, that resides in this region is safe.
That's right.
Thank you.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes, I think the most important thing, too, going forward is, news is news. Today, this is on the news, and things will quiet down a little bit. But the main thing I think we need to do is not let it quiet down.
Yes.
Because they'll sneak around the back and come in the back door. And as soon as they think we're not watching, they think that we've kind of let it go off to the wayside and we've gone on to something else. And I think the most important thing is to keep it at the forefront, keep it in everybody's remembrance, and just because they decide not to bring this mess here, doesn't mean the next mess isn't going to come here. So we need to keep fighting and get those laws changed and get those things changed. And so going forward, when this next incident happens somewhere, we're not right back to square one. And I think that's very, very, very important, not to let it get quiet and keep fighting and going forward with it.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. That's a super important point. One of the things that I've already requested this morning was hearings in Lansing on this topic, so that we can keep the public attention on some of these problems, because I don't want it to go away. I want people to be focusing on this issue, because yes, we understand that attention spans can be short sometimes, but this is a long-term issue, and we've got to keep talking about it until we actually solve the problem.
Yes, thank you so
Through the
much.
chair, I'm sorry, Mr.
Ma'am, you can't just speak out. we go in order here. You just can't holler out in council meetings. Okay, thank you.
Anything else from you, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Talley.
Yeah, just really quick, and that was a good point you made, Councilwoman Celeste, but I have to say that after this past weekend, I don't even think the residents is gonna let it die down, because they were very, very vocal over this weekend. I mean, I heard from people I have never heard from before, so I don't think that it's gonna be an issue that died, because even if we thought about letting down our guard, the residents are not. They are so very upset about this, so they're not gonna let us let our guard down, so I just want to put that out there. They're not.
And thank you. Thank
Thank
you all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Just one last comment. I want to thank you again for your quick action. As soon as our team was made aware of this issue, we had irons in the fire with all of our state representatives, and, you know, even Wagala and Miller and DeSaint reached out, your office as well. That was the first call we made to, before the media got wind of it. The media got wind of this when you guys were already acting and putting a halt to this. So even Rashida Tlaib and Congresswoman Dingell, in the work they did. So thank you for being lawmakers that were doing the right things by the city of Romulus and the state of Michigan and jumping into action before, you know, it hit the media. So thank you for that. Appreciate
Hopefully
it.
these things don't happen often, so we'll be always standing by ready, just in case we need to, but,
Well, hopefully this is the last one. We're
right,
shut down
exactly,
now.
exactly, yes.
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, just one quick comment. You have a powerhouse behind you.
We do, and we gotta use it,
You do.
and we gotta
Right.
use it,
Yes, you do.
yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Go
no more
ahead, Mayor.
comments. I'm gonna get right into the action items here.
Okay, Mayor.
Okay, first item I have is the disposal of obsolete, worn, and surplus property policy. So I'd ask the council concur with the administration and authorize the DPW to dispose of the listed vehicle to be auctioned off at governmentdeals.com with the buyer to pay 12.5% fee to GovDeals per vehicle, with all the proceeds going to the appropriate city fund.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ms. Talley.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and authorize the DPW to dispose of the listed vehicle to be auctioned on govdeals.com with the buyer to pay 12.5% fee to GovDeals per vehicle, with all proceeds going to the appropriate city fund.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for disposal of obsolete, worn, and surplus property policies. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have is for a road project for Huron River Drive from Pennsylvania to Eureka. I'll ask the council concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached contract between Michigan Department of Transportation and the city of Romulus to resurface Huron River Drive between Pennsylvania Road and Eureka Road, the local match in the amount of 20% at $221,682.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
I'm going to move that we approve the repaving of Huron River Drive between Pennsylvania and Eureka Road, and the city's match is 20%.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for the Huron River Drive, Pennsylvania to Eureka. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The last item I have for action is the grant accepted for the sidewalk repairs from MEDC. So I'd ask that council concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached grant contract between Michigan Economic Development Corporation, MEDC, and the city of Romulus, which will provide funding to support the cost of performing repairs to the sidewalk infrastructure within the city. These repairs will include sidewalk systems in the Romulus Urban Renewal neighborhood between Van Born and Wick Roads, between Van Born and Beverly Roads, and will be bringing the existing pathway from Wick to Smith Road, establishing the compliance with the American Disabilities Act.
Need a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation grant for the sidewalk repairs contract, and as the mayor just stated.
Support.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, who support?
Me.
Supported by Ms. Williams for Michigan Economic Development Corporation, MEDC grant sidewalk repairs, contract exclusion. Any discussion?
Yes. So through there, this is for sidewalk repairs, or is it for,
There's actually two different grant programs going on with sidewalks right now. One of them is going to be a repair program. This one, Roberto, is for the new one. You want to go ahead and give some details and timelines?
Yeah, good evening, council. This is for repairs. So as the mayor mentioned, we have two different funding sources that we recently received. You heard us talk about 6 months ago, a Wayne Road sidewalk. It's a TAP grant. That's from MDOT. That is for new construction of new sidewalk along Wayne Road. This opportunity came up a little bit after that TAP grant. We also have tied into there some enhancements to Wayne Road that is south of the limits of the original TAP grant, where we're going to enhance that sidewalk and make repairs to make it ADA compliant. But then we're going to move throughout the city, inside of our neighborhoods, in suburbs, and we are going to address some of the major faults with the sidewalk system. So it's going to be in an urban renewal area. It'll be on the south side of the city, the east side, the west side, and the north side.
but you're saying, where is sidewalks beyond, on Wayne Road, south?
Yeah. So on south of Smith, on the west side of Wayne Road, there's a sidewalk system. So there, we're gonna start, and I believe it goes all the way up to Wick. So we're gonna take a look at some of that sidewalk. Anything that is not ADA compliant, we will remove and replace. Also, if there's not detector strips at the actual ramps, or if the ramps are not the appropriate elevation, we're gonna change all that and make it compliant.
So you said south of,
South of the limits, south of Smith, south of the limits of the TAP grant.
so where is Smith off of, okay, is that right by,
The apartments, the.
Wesley
by
Townhouses.
Old Quarry School?
Wesley Townhouses.
Yes.
School.
Yeah.
Okay, so when will you start, or will the program start from
Oh.
Van Born back toward Wake?
Okay, that will not start until 2024, okay? So it will take about a year or 6 months to design it, acquire the real estate, and to bid that project out. Okay, so that's a separate project than this. This one, we are hoping to start as soon as possibly this fall. Okay?
Okay, so with the, what do they call it? Remodeling of Wick and Ecorse, what goes there? Just that turning lane?
Yes, yes. Yes, just a turning lane, the slip ramp,
Plus a reconstruction of the whole intersection.
yeah.
The entire intersection is going to be rebuilt with the addition of the eastbound lane added.
But there won't be sidewalk enhancements as part of that. Be very limited work for I should say pedestrian traffic.
So it
If
won't be
that's
no-
what the question was.
Yeah, I mean, because you would think since all of that is all opened up, you would try to get some sidewalks in there. I mean, you're making it better or, modernizing it for the cars, but what about the people?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the timeline of it, that project was started so much earlier than any of the inceptions of the planning for the Wayne Road sidewalk. That's why it wasn't considered. And in addition, there's a lot of right-of-way acquisition that would have tied up that project from happening because of the sidewalk. So a lot of those businesses own up to the edge of the road and back a curb, so there is no room to do public improvements for sidewalk because it's privately held. So again, a lot of moving parts with legal issues.
Even from Van Born to Ecorse?
Yeah,
same
we're gonna
thing?
have to do, there's gonna be legal challenges with acquiring easements or right-of-way.
So that's not the city right away from the street up to a certain point where the sidewalk
No,
goes? I'm just asking.
sometimes the parcels, the private properties own to the center line of the road in its statutory right-of-way, not dedicated city-owned right-of-way. So there are a lot of residents that we're going to be approaching for easement for the sidewalk.
Okay, I mean, because, you know, the state gave money, and I'm definitely hitting the county, and I know you're working with the county to get money. That's something that is really, really needed, them sidewalks starting at Van Born to Wick.
We're planning on building it.
Yeah, I mean, but this is 23, you say 24, and we're doing, it's a lot of work coming right there in that intersection, and to leave out sidewalks, to me, don't make sense. But, yeah, I was hoping that the sidewalks would be included, because, I mean, we're fixing the roads for, as I said, for vehicles, but we're not doing any improvement for people that's walking.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's legal issues with property, and one project was before the other.
Through the chair, if I may. and
Yes,
I'm
Ms.
going
Webb.
off, But it's only going to take me a minute, Mayor. I need to go home anyway. But roundabouts. I love it. Is it possible? I should have brought this up 2 years ago, right? At E-Course?
No.
Where you should have had the one single roundabout going down into that Sunoco area, that would eliminate a lot. That's all I had to say. See?
I'm also a fan of roundabouts, but I don't think
Not
Michigan
there.
drivers are ready to, we don't navigate them that well yet.
No.
A lot of accidents.
There's a lot of this goes on in those roundabouts.
That's too high of a traffic area.
Yeah, but those roundabouts, you can have a single, you can have single lanes. You don't have to have
That's confusing.
all those lanes. But to me, everything that you do on E-Course is still a hazard, as far as I'm concerned, because it's just not enough. I mean, those trucks and people put those little roundabouts like in Novi, real small and tiny, Why not? Teach our citizens, because
I don't think there's enough room to put in a roundabout there. You didn't need to acquire a lot more significant parts of right-of-way right there in order to accommodate a roundabout to accommodate that volume of traffic. But then we're getting into an engineering standard there.
Well, hopefully, Mayor and our engineer, next time we do a major project, maybe we can put a little pizzazz into our city with a small, single roundabout.
We can see if it works. One thing I want to add on this project too, because people at home, I'm sure, going to have the same questions I had. Why are we putting in sidewalks and the roads need repair? These funds that we're tapping into from these grant dollars are only to be used for walkability and pedestrian improvements. We can't use, if they gave me $2 million to put into the road, I'd put them in there right now. But these funds that we're receiving in these grants and the strings that are attached to these grants, it has to be for walkability. So, so if they hear that or see that, just correct the narrative and let them know that these funds have to be used for sidewalks, so.
You said you're going into the urban renewal, so would it be sidewalks going down Beverly Road, or no?
We are looking potentially at one piece of Beverly Road, but our focus is the streets where the homes are, addressing a lot of the sidewalk that is heaved up from trees or something to that effect, so we can actually get them to a location. And again, there's one spur we are looking at on Beverly that gaps 4th Street, 2nd, and all those streets that tie into Beverly over to Wayne Road, so those folks can come around south, or those folks can go around to the north, which is why we built that Van Born sidewalk as well.
So is that like from Wayne Road down Beverly to, because I think it stopped at Chamberlain?
Yeah, it's connecting, we're looking at connecting the Chamberlain area to Wayne Road.
Okay. I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you. That will conclude my report for this evening.
Oh, we got to vote on
Yeah,
that.
vote.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number 6 is the clerk's report. There are 2 items under the clerk's report. Item 6A is regarding study session public hearing requests for the fiscal year 23-24 budget process. Per the budget process outlined in Chapter 9, Section 9.2 and Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter, the Finance Department requests 2 study sessions and a public hearing to discuss the proposed 2023-24 city budgets. Now, 2 action items are requested from council. The first action item is to approve a 1-hour and 15-minute study session for Monday, April 3rd, 2023, and Monday, April 10th, 2023, beginning at 6 p.m. to discuss the proposed 2023-24 city budgets.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the meetings on April the 3rd and April the 10th at 6 p.m.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the study session request for Monday, April the 10th, 6 p.m., and to discuss the city budgets. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. The second action item is to schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 1st, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. I know that your
Typo, yeah.
cover sheet says 6 o'clock. That is an error. I apologize for that. But again, to schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 1st, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. in accordance with Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter. A
Chair,
motion
I'll
will be
make
in
that
order.
motion to
Roscoe?
schedule a public hearing to be held in the Romulus City Hall Council Chambers on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 6:30, correct?
That's correct.
6:30 PM in accordance with Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter.
Support.
A motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for a public hearing to be held in Romulus City Hall Council Chambers on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 6:30 in accordance with Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb? Ms. Webb?
No, with discussion, only because we have these study sessions, and they start early, and in 15 minutes they're over, so why would we spend that extra time? You know, I've noticed we have study sessions beginning at 6:45 or whatever, only lasts 15 minutes. You know, I don't know if anyone else has checked it or not, but we're here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do we have any other
Any other
thing on that,
time, I mean, you know,
other than
we're
6:30?
taking up a
Or
lot
though
of
it takes that
time.
long?
And I have a lot of, not that you have to cow down to me, I'm not saying that, but sometimes I'm here 5 minutes before it's over, or 10 minutes before,
So,
after, or whatever, it's over.
so the 6:30 time is the time that's requested by finance.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
we don't question why they need that time, because I believe they give you an opportunity and a public opportunity if there's going to be public to have their comments, and we don't want to run into the regular meeting.
No, I was just looking at what the study session was about. It's about the quarterly investment report.
That's
Usually-
the next item.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't got there yet, Councilwoman Webb.
Okay, so your vote is yes, Ms. Webb?
No, my vote is for the one, I had the wrong report. You know, you gotta flip them over nowadays. It's a yes.
Okay.
It's across the board.
Okay, and chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. The last action item is a study session request. Treasurer Page is requesting a 30-minute study session for Monday, March 6, 2023, at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the quarterly investment report. The date and time are available for that request.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the study session request for Monday, March 6, 2023, at 6:45 PM, requested by Treasurer Stacy Page for a 30-minute study session to discuss the quarterly investment report.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for a study session request Monday, March 6, 2023, at 6:45. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
I just have the same concerns about how quickly the the study sessions go. You know, some people leave City Hall, we don't, don't even have dinner, and we'll be here 15 minutes and it's over, or 20 minutes. I don't have a problem with this at all. It's just the timing. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. And just to quickly address Councilwoman Webb's concern, we do our best to try to gauge the time that the departments have to present to council, as well as give council time to discuss. Even at the last study session, it was for 15 minutes, and it ended up being over 30, and we ran into our regular meeting. And we just try to give it enough time to anticipate possible discussion from council.
And I understand that, but it's never interpreted. We never get to that point. That's all I'm saying. We never get to the point of being here for 30, 45 minutes. I mean, it just don't happen. Not on certain study sessions is what I'm saying, But I'll go along with my colleagues. I mean, I've been going along with it, but I just wanted to mention that that's a long haul sometimes. But, okay, yes.
It's so noted, Councilwoman Webb. And that concludes the clerk's report. Number 7 is the treasurer's report. Our treasurer, Stacy Page, is not present at the council meeting tonight, but she did indicate she has no discussion or actions under her report. That brings us to number 8, public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those in the audience who would like to address City Council. The rules to address City Council can be found on the back of the meeting agenda. If you would like to address City Council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note, members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, we did have a public comment card from Sylvia Lathan, but I believe she did leave the council meeting.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? If there are no other comments from the audience, we close the part out.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Number 9 is unfinished business. Number 10 is new business.
New business, okay.
Number 11 is warrant for approval is warrant 23-04.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 23-4 in the following amounts. General Fund, $114,111.60. Major Street Fund, $28,800.73. Local Street Fund, $13,258.65. Public Safety Fund, $36,785.04. Cable TV, $58,901.34. Street Lighting Fund, $57,979.79. Oakwood SAD, $71.88. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $97,248.98. 911 Service Fund, $27.87. Law Enforcement, $58,987.23. Narc Forfeiture State, $670.05. Library Fund, $4,537.04. DDA, $1,840.02. Tifa District 2, $30,982.75. Vining Road Extension, E-Course Construction, $28,462.49. Water and Sewer Fund, $894,265.42. Motor Vehicle, $3,840.77. Technology Services, $264.30. Revolving Fund, $8,196.25. Current tax, $98.06. Total all funds, $1,439,330.26.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 23-04 for $1,439,330.26. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
No.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. Number 12 is communications.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Talley.
Just a couple of things. First, just to our colleague, Ms. Abdul, just your condolences to your family, prayers for your family during this time. You know, we've already talked, God is faithful, and I know he's going to keep you guys covered during this time. So God bless you and your family and continued prayers. We've had a lively discussion today about this toxic waste issue. Again, all hands on deck. Just been amazing, the support we have received. I just want to shout out about our Senator Camilleri. As he stated, he had a coffee hour last Monday, February 20th, at our library, and Representative, Rep. Reggie Miller was with him on February 20th, Monday at the library, and Representative Wagella was at the library on Friday, February 17th. So these elected officials are trying to stay engaged in our community. So we need to use them. When they're here, we need to take full advantage of it. I want to shout out to those residents who did come out and support these coffee hours. They made themselves available and accessible to hear any concerns we have in our city. So when they come, we really need to utilize this time when we have them here in our city of Romulus. They're not just here for those days, they're always accessible to us. But if they're here in Romulus and they come in and rent out our library, we should come out and support them and bring our issues that we have that they can help us with and support and assist our city. So I want to shout out to them for opening up these coffee hours here in Romulus the last couple of weeks at our library. I just want to shout out to the city too. They had budget meetings the last couple of weeks, very good meetings, good discussions with our finance team and the mayor and his team, department heads, just very great discussions. It's a very informative time sitting in these budget meetings with the city. So I just want to thank the mayor and his staff for those invites to all of us to attend those meetings, and I take full advantage of them because they're very enlightening. So thank you for that. Absolutely. And then we have Hometown Heroes. I don't know if people have seen the applications out there, so please look. They are out there for Hometown Heroes coming up in May. I think it's May 20th, but the application's out there. Please look at the categories and submit accordingly for those categories that are out there. And then finally, Good Friday is fast approaching. We're going to have a Good Friday walk. April 7th, and we do need characters for the walk, so if you're interested in being a character on the Good Friday walk, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Talley. Ms. Williams?
I'd just like to say to the mayor, I missed Vanessa today.
Yeah, we gave her the night off. No Vanessa in the candidate, so we'll have her back at it next week.
Well, I would just like to say, just to remind the residents, we are, again, at the Romulus High School with Forgotten Harvest, starting at 10 to, normally we'll go to 1 o'clock. And Mayor, if they can change that website, because it has on there, we start at either 11 or 12, and the time has changed because, yeah. So it's from 10 actually to 12. Sometime we'll run to 1, but our goal is to get out before the school buses come. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no more communications from council. That brings us to number 13, adjournment, and the time is 9:24.
So moved.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.